Good morning. I'd like to keep this one quick. This weekly tip of the day, trick of the day, tip of the trick. I haven't figured out what to call this class, but for now we're just calling it weekly workshop. I did have one request specifically by 2 or 3 people, but specifically by my buddy who is a computer programmer. And if you're familiar, hello Melissa, if you're familiar with computer programming in any way, it's like much of your life, I'm sure, in this Western life that we live, it involves sitting, it involves gripping, it involves a lot of fine-tuned repetitive movements. And in the words of Dr. Andrea Spinay, a Canadian chiropractor, the only movements that are bad for you are the ones that you don't do at all or do too much. So there's no quick fix when it comes to anything, but particularly something in Western lifestyle syndrome like carpal tunnel and arthritic conditions that can develop through repetitive motions. And while I would like to say, when we're talking good morning, and wrist health, we cannot forget about the elbow and the shoulder and the spine and everything else, your feet, that go into this sort of repetitive pain. But I was asked for a quick morning stretch to start to loosen up the joints, or just something that you can do throughout the day. So knock on wood, we're going to try to make this quick. Follow along. If you have some CBD balm, a favorite oil that you prefer to use when touching yourself, then go ahead and grab that now. We'll wait. Okay, done waiting. You can pause the video and come back with your favorite balm. When I was going through massage therapy school, this is what I would do every day during class when I should have been paying attention to lecture, so feel free to try to do this the same. I'm going to start with some Dr. Evil rolls. We'll just call them that. Bringing all the tips of the digits together. It's pretty simple. It's not a pressing of the palms together. It's a slow spreading. Okay? So maybe the base of my knuckles can touch, but the palms don't have to. And then I can just start to roll from pinky to thumb. Pinky to thumb, pinky to thumb. This can be as slow or as fast as you need it to. You can explore pressing down and then rolling out. But where the Dr. Evil gets fun for me is when we start to do this thumb to pinky sort of octopi thing. And you'll notice pretty quickly. Typically, if you're stuck in this position all day, we don't like to spread the fingers. So as I'm doing this, I'm really trying to spread from front to back or back to front, going both ways. Let's just call it 10-15 times per round. And with everything that I do, in particular with slow joint circles, hello Lacey, go slow on the first lap, feel it out. We're doing Dr. Evil rolls, and then you can slowly begin to connect the dots. So Dr. Evil roll is not quite pushing the palm together unless you want to explore that opening on both sides. More of just a gentle jellyfish. Okay. You can give a couple stretch, a couple wiggles, move on to the next one. Everyone does this. Interlacing the fingers, a kind of figure of 8 of the wrist. So that's always nice, staying within a range of comfort, going both ways. Good pops. Ooh, yeah. What I like to try to do, though, is to find these sort of fighter wrist rolls and, again, slow it down. But this time, engage. Squeeze the wrist, squeeze the hands. And as you start to take it in these figure of eights, you'll notice quite a few more catch points, quite a few more pop points. So there's no reason, especially when we're talking joints, to sort of push through that snap crackle. We pause where we feel the catch. Maybe after a breath or two, it's easier to move aside, or we can sort of wiggle around it. Okay? So can we do that same figure of eight fighter wrist roll, but with a little more tension, a little more control, before inevitably smoothing it out and reconnecting the dots? And of course, if you want to switch the grip, start slow on the first lap as you switch the direction. Get a feel for the different connecting points, the different lines of tension as you explore the different direction, and then connect the dots. Okay? And with both of these different grips, I like to give a pressing out. If I wasn't in my car, I would stretch overhead, but I can stretch forward, give the shoulders a little movement, and a Chinese finger trap style, a little pull to release. Okay? So two last things. Again, I don't have a ton of room with the steering wheel in front of me, but imagining there's an X on my wrist, I can try to keep my arm steady as I take my hand in rotations, trying not to allow the forearm to move too much, but seeing where my hand can go while it's flat, both ways, following the line of tension, noticing those catch points, pausing if you need to. I can do the same thing with my hand clenched, trying not to let my forearm rotate too much, just noticing what's available. It's the morning time. No reason to push yourself to your physical boundaries. Okay? Combination of both, alternating, and of course, both ways if we haven't already. And then, at any point, shaking and vibrating and undulating is always welcome when we're talking morning prep. The last thing, everyone likes to focus on these grippy muscles, which are great. You can do all sorts of stretches, like your down dogs and your cats and your cows. I like to focus on the back of the arms too. A great one, if we were to create a fist, try to maintain this fist as I wrap the other hand around, holding on to, that's a lot of hearts, holding on to the back side of the hand, feeling a subtle pull with that skin, maintaining your fist, and then real easy turning. So let's see if we can get a good angle on that. With my arm straight, not bent, for demonstration purposes, I try to turn. And this is a really interesting one because immediately just from this gripping and turning, there's a very intense line that runs all the way down to the elbow, for some of you, up to the anterior delt. But what's interesting for me about it is how you can rotate some from this position and alter that line of tension. So it's good enough as is. You can hold here with the eye of the elbow turning down, breathing, eye of the elbow turning up, and just for kicks and giggles, you can try it with the palm extended. And again, same thing, both ways. Yes, it feels very nice. We are yogis, we are people trying to balance out our days, so do both sides. Left, right, up, down, all around. See how that feels. Gripping versus extending versus palm out. Stretching the extensors, flexors. Yeah. So just to recap, if I am able to recap, there's the Dr. Evil, which looks more like a passively aggressive jellyfish. Okay. Maybe that turns into something like this, but it could just be a little wave. Always shaking, always vibrating. What else was there? There's the Fighter, the Figure of 8. Casual and relaxed versus creating tension. Exploring, pausing if you need to. Okay. We did the pressing out, the Chinese finger trap, the this, and I know there was one more. Well, if you remember, you're just going to have to tell me. Here we go. There was this, and then there was this, and then there was this. See, there's so much that we could do, okay? I could spend my time pulling each individual finger apart, doing what the doctor told me not to do, and pulling and stretching out every individual joint. I could spend time taking the hallucis, drawing it down away from the palm. So, and as mentioned, finger, hand, wrist health, it's not gonna be just finger, hand, and wrist. It's gonna be everything in the immediate and distal connecting chain. The whole body needs to be shaked. The whole body needs to be moved and grooved and prepped for the day. If you don't have time for an hour stretch session, that's fine. Take some of these core principles and see where you can apply it to what's needed for you. So, that might have been relatively quick. Yes, the forearm is the best arm. All right. Thank you all. Love you. Enjoy your Monday.